Alright. Alright, everybody, welcome. Metroid Prime, one of the best speed games out there. I'm Cody7737.
I'm Caliber.
As you might have heard, we were lucky enough, we did actually meet our Fusion Suit incentive. I'm incredibly delighted, I'm elated, I'm so happy. Let me just turn it on here, and then we can get started.
Would you like a countdown?
I'll count it down for you.
Cool.
So typically in this game, we'll get into it more, but we time with in-game time. One of the side effects, I'm going to get started, and then I'll count it down. And once I gain control of Samus, that's when the timer officially starts. So I'll count it down 5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
Go!
And we're off. Oh,
And so
whatever.
that was part one of the hardest boss of the game.
Yeah, I already failed the boss, but that's okay. Lost a couple seconds, but who cares?
So these targets are meant to teach the player the L lock-on control, because this game uses tank-style movement mechanics, where you have to hold down the R to look up and down and around, and then L will basically hold you in place while you walk.
So one of the things you're going to notice right away about this game is that as long as you're not in morph ball form, moving forward and backward is quite slow. It's not very fast. We don't really do it a lot. So normally I'll find other ways to move around. That means I can either morph or I can use scan dashing or other tech. There's a lot of tech in this game, but it depends on the geometry of the room and where I can scan dash off of. We'll get into scan dashing pretty shortly here. It's one of the cornerstones of this game. It's one of the coolest tricks and most broken things about any speed game, in my opinion.
Yeah, Metroid Prime is a very movement-oriented speedrun. You're going to see a handful of glitches and out-of-bounds movement in this run.
Right here, I'm going to do a scan dash, and I'm going to use this thing right in front of me. I get a bunch of speed going sideways, and I can basically fly through the room at ludicrous speeds. Otherwise, the fastest, I guess, would be to roll through the room, but that's a lot slower, obviously. That's why we do it. I tried to do a damage boost there, but I did not get it, sadly. That's why.
Yeah, a lot of this run is just figuring out how to quickly get through.
All right, this trick right here is my personal trick. It's called the Cody ledge. It's my contribution to this game. There's another trick, a double bomb jump. It was a lot harder and slower, actually. So I was fed up with doing it one day. I was just messing around, and I found out that you could wedge yourself in a ledge, like between two pieces of a collision, and the game will want to reposition you to the nearest spot that is standable, which happens to be straight up.
You know you've made it when you have a trick named after you that is just runner name object.
Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna take a safety save here because there's something coming up that's pretty difficult. I'll give it one shot, and if I don't get it, I'll just go inbounds here. But I'm going out of bounds, you'll see in a minute. All right, let's get going. All right, so coming up is the first boss of the game. Try not to blink, you might miss it. It's very quick. Hopefully the save doesn't mess up the cycle here.
So what you're seeing Cody do right now is, there's obviously a missile firing mechanic in this game. If you hold up on the C-stick, it basically cancels part of the animation of firing a missile. Now we're about to see the classic Metroid game escape sequence.
Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately.
So normally in this sequence, you're supposed to basically go through a series of tunnels and rooms that essentially go in a big circle around the frigate to escape and exit the segment of the game. But Cody's going to go right instead of left here, push himself in this little corner, do some weird movement, and pop himself out of bounds because there's a little hole there you can easily position first. And so now we are currently out of bounds, and out of bounds movement in this game is a little bit special because essentially every room is inside of a box. And when you're inside that box, you are able to move
Weird.
mostly normally.
I kind of messed up here, but I can get out of it pretty easily.
And you see Cody kind of demonstrating the every room is in a box. Because when you move outside of that box, your height basically gets maintained, and it's like you're standing on the ground. But when you move inside, you will start to fall to the bottom of the room. But if you press B within a few frames of entering the box, you can jump and then go right outside the box, as you can see Cody doing
so
here.
every jump right here is a 3-frame window for me to hit. And if I miss it, it's not a big deal. I'll fall back into the standable stuff, but if I miss jumps, obviously I lose a little bit of time here, so try not to mess it up. But getting there quickly is one of the hardest parts about this whole entire out of bounds. Ooh, fast, okay. So now I'm just gonna push myself up onto the wall, a jump to the right, just like that. I'm gonna wait a second here just to make sure, absolutely sure I don't soft lock, because it can happen.
And what Cody's doing right here by morphing and going into that little spot right there is, since this game is broken up into separate rooms.
And we're out. What a delight. The out-of-bounds frigate there is one of the most stressful tricks. It's one of the reasons why runners don't really enjoy the first part of the game, is just because the loads kind of take a while. It's really stop and go. And then once you're finally like 2.5 minutes into the run, or 3 minutes, you're hit with that out-of-bounds, which is one of the most difficult tricks in the entire run. So I'm happy I'm through already.
May we celebrate the occasion with a donation?
Of course.
All right, I have a wonderful donation here from FWA, and you've chosen you just happened to donate at the perfect time, because I have the perfect make it sound true even if it's false voice. Inaccurate Fast Furs facts number 1. Before choosing the name Fastest Furs, the names Quickest Critters, Swiftest Floofs, Rapid Wooers, Hurried Beasts, and Zippity Fluff Balls were all considered and discarded. You know, one of those true facts that we know about.
So right here, Cody is demonstrating how scan dashing can be very useful. He basically just skipped to like the 7th item you get, the 7th major upgrade you get in this game, which is the base jump boots, and it just absolutely breaks open the early game, because now basically Cody's able to double jump anywhere. And Cody doing the frigate wall crawl over there earlier, it skipped the item loss sequence, which it's normally a cutscene at the end of the escape sequence where Samus basically just loses all of her major upgrades. We of course skipped that because it didn't take the normal route, but in between the tutorial area and landing on the Talon floor, the game just automatically removes all your items anyways. So unfortunately we haven't found a way to actually skip losing your items.
I don't think it's possible unless we found some way to start the game in a different room, because basically the reason why is because there's a giant trigger around almost the entire room that basically takes all your items away. So in the game there's 2 checks, really. There's one on frigate and there's one right at the start of the game there that prevents us from skipping the items. Alright, I'm gonna get an energy tank here. This is pretty standard for pretty much any run, even top level runs.
Yeah, you think early on is very nice. Samus is essentially made of glass before she gets any suit.
Oh, taking damage. We have some time for more announcements if there are any.
Absolutely, I'm more than happy to announce that we have reached $65 now in the Mario 3 addition to the Triple Mario Run, make it a Quadruple Mario Run. I'd like to announce the donations that came with that. We have $10 from Echo Tiger saying, shout out to Bart who can't figure out how to donate. We got you, bro. And we have another $50 from Ian Keith saying, more marathon is always better, marathon. Let's keep it running. Shout outs to the staff for crushing it so far, and the runners for putting on an unforgettable show already. Let's give a big round of applause for that one.
Yeah, so one of the running themes in this game is that pretty much anything in this game you look at, it's standable. So if it looks standable, it probably is. They use some sort of algorithm to decide whether stuff is standable or not. And there's a bunch of instances where they manually remove stuff that would otherwise be standable, but there's still just tons of stuff that you can use almost every late game item in this game is skippable for that reason, especially like movement-based ones. Right now we're listening to the boss music of that other room because, again, I have the space jump boots. I grabbed the morph ball early, and then I used my space jump to leave that room, causing the music trigger to not reset. So we're not going to hear any different music for another couple minutes, because there's not another music trigger for a couple minutes.
You might have
So-
noticed earlier that Cody pulled out the map very quickly while waiting for one of the doors to open. The reason it does that is because it helps load that specific door a little quicker, but the reason that's like good to do in a normal speedrun setting is because we run by in-game time for Metroid Prime, and basically the in-game timer doesn't run while the game is paused, the map is open, or there's a dialogue box on.
Yeah, so later on, I'll get into it more later on, but there are a few instances of there's a lot of times where it's faster to waste time in real time, but you save in-game time because of that. So there's a few cutscenes I will be watching on purpose, even for the purpose of the marathon. Even though it's an RTA marathon, I just keep it in the spirit of the game. It doesn't affect the estimate anyway.
I saw Cody missile that door out in the corner. That'll be very important for later, having that door unlocked. So right now we're just Cody's just heading through all these rooms. We're heading towards the little mini boss of the area to get fourth ball bomb. Oops, basically the first and one of the few RNG portions of the run.
Yeah, true RNG.
Through run, yeah.
In this game, this boss, it's known as Zoid. It's what's it called normally? I forget actually.
It's normally
Incinerator
Incinerator Drone. It was,
Yeah.
it was made by the developers Zoeto.
Yeah, it's lovingly made. It's lovingly named by a person named David Zoid Kirsch. Zoid is responsible for some of the RNG in this game. That includes this boss, and that includes a power bomb maze that's coming up later on. But basically the way this works is there's 4 phases. We don't know why it works like this, but phase 1 has a variance of 5 seconds between how long the weak spot comes up. Phases 3 and 4 are all 10 seconds each. So the worst possible fight is 35 seconds slower than the fastest possible fight. But basically the thing I'm looking out for here is if the music does not get to loop once, then that is it's like a
great fight, like a near perfect fight.
yeah. I think I'm on good time actually. I'm on good time. So if this phase is good, it'll be a pretty good fight, which I'll be happy about.
And if the music like just about begins to loop, that's about average. Correctly.
As someone with a green Wops Sona, it breaks my heart to see them die here.
I hate these bees. They actually have an effect. For some reason, they're the only enemy in the game that does this. But if you get hit by their venom, then pressing L does not do anything for a moment, which is the only time that happens in the game. Kind of an interesting fact. They're also weak. They're also like invincible to the ice beam and the plasma beam, I believe, which is also weird. Kind of like just obscure lore, I guess. Not lore, but like just an oversight.
So now that we've basically cleared out the whole early game portion, early portion of the game, we're gonna head to the first like major boss other than Parasite Queen and tutorial level, lovingly known as the cutscene boss. Why very soon.
I'm gonna grab this missile. Normally I do in my runs, but a lot of people don't. It's not necessary, but it does help later on.
Cody's going to take a save here because right after that boss, there's a trick that unfortunately, if you mess it up, at the end of the game, it'll, was it like 15 minutes?
I can go out of bounds potentially, but I'd rather not. It's just much faster to not mess it up. It's Basically, in a real run, if I don't get it, it's pretty much a reset right away.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, since we run in in-game time, every run has to be every IGT run has to be single segment because obviously if you save and quit, die, or anything like that, you have to go back to your previous save location. That's like in-game time that was wiped.
Yeah, right there I skipped the gate. I don't really feel like scanning all the scan points, so I just don't need to. It's one of the few things that's actually patched in the 0-0-01 version of this game, which is super rare. Most people will be familiar with either 0-00, which I'm playing today, or 0-002,
Which
the third version.
which removes all fun from the game.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is Flagra, cutscene boss. Basically, the intended mechanic is you're supposed to knock down all these mirrors, and there's progressively more mirrors as each phase goes on. But that takes a very long time, and there's something special about these bomb slots. They're not actual bomb slots as you see in other parts of the game. They're actually just damage triggers. So we don't need to get inside the bomb slot. And simply just kind of do this. Get near the bomb slot, play a couple bombs, and then it does the damage trigger and moves to the next phase.
Yeah, this is one of the parts where it's really evident that you're not supposed to have the space jump, but it's really fun because this boss is awesome with the space jump. I mean, besides the cutscenes.
Yeah, space jump makes the early game extremely trivial.
Oh wow, what the? Okay. I'm gonna go around. I've never gone actually across this thing before.
And you're normally able to, well, you're able to stun Flagra with like this third charge beam. But we don't want to do that because, as you can see, normally during this cutscene, Flagra is supposed to be on the ground, like unconscious and not able to attack you. But since he's not, he slashes during the cutscene, and while we don't take damage during the cutscene, as soon as we leave the cutscene and he's slashing, he can do a whole 100 energy in a few seconds. Flagra is very dangerous, can be a very dangerous boss, but now we're done. And it was a fairly smooth fight.
Yeah, besides the little hiccup there on the third one, it was fine.
And if you weren't sick of cutscenes after those 4 beautiful cutscenes right there, we're going to get another pretty long cutscene, about 35 seconds, so we have some time for announcements. Very nice.
Well, I just want to say, everyone, we have just reached 4K tonight. Woo. And because this was the donation that reached 4K, I'm going to abide by what it fully asks me to do. This is $19 from Savage Richrobe saying, it's a prime number. I'm a Wizrobe. Glad I could make it to see Fastest Furs live despite a demanding work schedule. To my pal, Cody, best of luck on your run and may it have great value. Metroid Prime for the Nintendo GameCube. TM. Also, prime number. Great value, my favorite brand from Walmart. Let's give a hand for Walmart.
Puke suit.
That was a beautiful donation.
Do we have time for another?
One more.
Yes, so we now also have $5 from Zeras. And I think they want a specific reaction from the crowd on this one because they told me to say chicken jockey.
Chicken jockey.
Chicken jockey.
All right, so coming up here is it's the trick that I mentioned earlier. Once I get through this room, I'm gonna just ask for a moment of silence while I focus on getting up here. I got my eyes on you, by the way, Rizzob. You'll be hearing about this later.
I'm collateral damage for reference.
Oh no. Okay, I'm not gonna try this any longer. I don't wanna waste the run. Well, I'm trolling. I'm getting trolled. What a troll, dude. Okay.
So yeah, that's the trick is called early wild. Basically in that room, if you shove yourself in that little corner and more, it'll slow and hold a certain direction on the analog stick. It'll basically add friction and slow you down, so you can use bombs to climb up the tower and and while you're doing that, hit a trigger to change the layer inside the room where Flagra is to a different one that has one of the artifacts which we need to open up the end game. Unfortunately, it is a little tricky.
Yeah,
It's easy to mess up.
sometimes it's like, it's really reactionary, so the timing isn't quite the same every time you place a bomb, but
Yeah.
I'll give it one more try, and I do have a backup save if I don't get it again, so we'll try it one more time, and if not, then we'll just move on.
I have faith in you. You can do this. Let's give a round of applause. We can get this. We just need to get the energy up.
But yeah, that goes to show how unforgiving this game is, because in a typical speedrun setting for the leaderboard time, that would unfortunately mean run is completely dead. There's no longer segment. Prime is a very fun game, but it's unfortunately also very unforgiving.
I could also go out of bounds to get the early wild there, but I'm not so comfortable with the out of bounds yet. So I feel like I would save more time by going through the boss fight again.
Yeah, we probably have time for some announcements during this.
There we go.
Good. That's pretty solid.
A little sketchy, but we made it.
That's all that matters.
It's a damn shame that you can't skip any of these cutscenes.
I guess you could do what the Final Fantasy X people did and just make your own cutscene remover eventually.
Yeah. Would be nice. Occasionally the tentacle inside the track it'll like retract itself inside, and then it knocks you away and does a bunch of damage. If you're low on health, it can kill you. Luckily, health isn't so much of an issue right now because I was at the save station earlier, and it fills up your health before you keep going.
Out of curiosity, are there any cutscenes that runners can just normally skip in the game and not have to watch?
There are a few. Like in terms of in-game time versus real time, there's a couple times where I need to watch a cutscene rather than skip it, even though I can skip it, but it is faster in-game time to do so.
And later in the run, there actually is a time where immediately skipping the cutscene is actually the best strat.
The best types of speedruns are where the logic is completely inconsistent, and so you just wonder, why do you skip this cutscene? But we have it all figured out, folks.
It's all about the in-game time. There's
Nice to
been
have an in-game
pushback.
time.
A lot of people in the community, there's been pushback about the in-game time versus RTA thing, but personally, I feel like really what you're doing is you're optimizing the time that you're actually in control of Samus. So an RTA route wouldn't be as interesting because it focuses more on skipping elevators and cutscenes and stuff, and puts a really heavy focus on out of bounds because it tends to skip more cutscenes too. But a lot of people in this game will choose to run inbounds only, and that's a perfectly valid way to run. All right, we're gonna get through this one more time, and hopefully I make it. If not, I will have to ignore this and keep going. It's not too hard of a trick, but sometimes it can mess you up. It messes me up sometimes.
It's tricky and sometimes a little unforgiving. So.
Okay, let's get a moment of silence here. There we go.
There we go.
Let's go, Cody!
Crowd is going insane back there.
So
It's
yeah,
almost like it's full of my friends or something.
so yeah, doing that, like I said earlier, doing that bomb jump, we hit a trigger that changes the layer in this room to this Kozo Ghost fight. And while this isn't really RNG dependent, the Ghost can definitely pick a day to really pile on the time loss. There is a way to like juggle them with half charge shots. It's a little tricky though. But this does save a lot of time because it allows us to skip 2 major upgrades, which are Super Missiles and Spider Ball.
I'm kind of missing my shots, but they're kind of giving me like good positions. Sometimes these guys will like literally just waste your time for no reason. I've had times where like 20 seconds straight, there's no ghost available.
Yeah, Cody kind of demonstrating how you can juggle with ghosts by
Yeah, you can stun lock them if you time it right. Okay. Artifact of Early Wild.
So this is one of the 12 artifacts we will need to get into the final area of the game, and unfortunately we can't skip any of the artifacts, because basically each artifact a layer in the area that get into the final like section of the game. But we're able to route in most of them pretty neatly. There's only I think a couple that we really need to go out of our way for.
We have some time for donations now, or announcements if there are any.
Yes, we have both donations and announcements, actually.
Wonderful.
So, I just want to say to folks right now, we are currently at $114 for the add bonus Super Mario Bros. 3 Wrong Warp run for the Triple Mario Any Percent NES Gauntlet, let's put it. And I wanted to say we've gotten some 2 donations going towards that. So if you are interested, please make sure to donate for that. We want to make sure we have even more of the marathon to see by hitting !donate in the chat or going to www.fastestfurs.com/donate. We have a $20 donation from Anonymous saying, save the animals. That's the wrong Metroid game, but we'll take it.
Save the animals.
And then we have Tito Barks saying, Cody hit a world record on this run. Love you from YYC and Tico Chase, Amici, and Echo. Get them, Queen. $10 towards the add bonus Super Mario Bros. 3 Wrong Warp run.
I love all these people.
Good,
I imagine
would hope
lots
so.
of them are in the chat right now, in the back actually. So right there, I just picked up the artifact of nature, I think. We don't know why that piece of rock is actually destructible, but I think it's intended that we're supposed to use a super missile on it, but in every single version of the game, you can use 2 missiles, which I don't know if it is intended. No one really knows.
Yeah, I don't think it says anywhere what base. I don't think it says anywhere what on them.
Getting through this room quickly is like insanely difficult, so I can just R-jump.
Yeah, Backmore is basically just a major test of strength when it comes to movement at times. Right now we're pretty solid so far. We're able to do dashes to get through quickly. Heading basically right towards Vendrana. We're gonna make a quick pit stop though for an extra E-tank, nicely named race tank, because most people typically get it in races or marathons.
It's just for more safety. A lot of people, high-level runners don't even bother, but
It's all about endurance.
I think it makes the game a little bit more consistent at the end. So it wastes about around 10 or 15 seconds. It's not too bad. These pieces of icicles are not vulnerable to the plasma beam for some reason, but every other one is, interestingly enough. Right here, I'm going to watch the cutscene on purpose. I can skip it, and I will be skipping it when I can, but the reason is because Samus walks forward, and it sets up a few cycles too. So you can see I'm in a good spot. I walked forward, and now I can just dash. So it saves a little bit of in-game time, but wastes a little bit of RTA.
I was curious to ask Cody. I noticed you're running this on GameCube, and I know there's the Wii release on the Prime Remastered or there's both Prime Remastered on Switch, but also there's the Wii re-release with the trilogy. Why did you specifically want to run Prime on the GameCube?
All these scan dashes I'm doing, They were patched out in all the previous or in all the subsequent versions, except for the 0-01, which I mentioned. It's super rare; almost no one has it. But in every other version, scan dashing is impossible. There's also other stuff that you can't do. Metroid Prime Remastered is a different beast actually, because remember how I went out of bounds in the frigate and I could use the, it's like the outside of the
Yeah.
I won't get into
I
it
do remember
too
that
much.
because it basically looked like we were going through the essentially a construction site.
Yeah. In the Prime Remastered version, there is no ether box, at least not in the way we know it. So in the remastered, if you go out of bounds, you'll just fall straight into the ether and you'll never be able to get back up. But in this game, if you fall out of bounds, it's not a big deal in most cases.
So now we're backtracking a little bit now that we've gotten Boost Ball, which you're going to see Cody using in basically every can. Just going to watch
Yeah.
a quick cutscene. Watch our nice friend Ridley fly overhead.
Out of an
Huge
abundance
shadow.
of caution, I will be saving here. I don't really think it's necessary, but I mean, who knows, right? Stuff could happen. I'm about to go out of bounds, so I'm just gonna take the save anyways. It's one of the slower ones I'm gonna take. Right here.
You're going to see Cody go out of bounds and do a very, very interesting trick right after that out of bounds ball crawl.
I got hit by the inverted snow cone.
Inverted snow cones do a
I'm-
lot of knockback.
I don't think I'm standing on the thing I'm actually thinking of standing on. Oh, I shouldn't have killed it. Whatever. Okay, I'm gonna dash off this thing, and I'm out of bounds. It's literally so easy in this room.
This is considered one of the gear wall crawl for newer runners. Typically, I think it or IBVF or once basically everyone learns when they're speedrunning.
Right there, I have to unload the room manually. In most cases, I don't need to, but right there I do because the game will crash. These two rooms adjacent are pretty big. And if I load both of them, it crashes the game. Did I get that?
Yeah, throughout Prime, you'll probably notice that every big room is followed by one or two small rooms, and it's for that purpose because while you go through that small room, you'll hit an invisible trigger that will unload the previous room, and then you'll hit one that'll load the next room. Because if you have, obviously, rooms loaded at once, the game will crash.
All right, right now I'm setting up a complicated glitch called infinite speed.
Yeah, so Cody went out of bounds. Basically, while it looks like he's in one room, he's actually, the game thinks he's in another one, which changes how some of the collision works.
Yeah, so I'll show it off quickly for the stream, but you can see the game thinks I'm in this tunnel adjacent to me, but I'm not actually. So the collision in here is a little bit messed up, and I'm going to push forward against the wall and hold left here. Right now I'm gaining an exponential rotational velocity. It's going to go so high, eventually the game won't be able to calculate it anymore. I'm going to get not a number rotational velocity, and it's going to have some crazy effects that you'll see. It takes about 50 seconds of charging up, but you'll see what happens here. It's pretty bonkers.
Real riveting gameplay.
Oh, this
totally
is
used
so
some
beautiful.
I would never interrupt this with some announcements.
Oh no, I wouldn't think to.
Just
you don't
let me
think to,
cook.
which is why
Just
I'm
let me
doing it.
cook.
So while we observe our Lord and Savior Morph Ball, I would just like to mention again that we are trying to hit 5K today, people. So if you can get a donation in and try to reach that peak, we want 5K for Friday. That would be wonderful to see because as soon as we hit 5K, we pretty much guarantee the Mario 3 run will make it.
So
All
Sam-
right, say hello to our friend Sue Sam over there. That's Sam, that's backwards.
So to explain what just happened, basically once Samus's rotational speed hits not a number, you enter a state called basically speed. And when you use ball in that state, every collision check will return true. So you can boost and use that to to basically hit items and pick them up. So right there, we picked up 2 items.
Ooh.
You saw us pick up the wave beam, which is one of the 3 major beam upgrades in this in this game, and we also picked up an artifact that was stored that you normally need plasma beam to hit.
Yeah, the whole purpose is the entire purpose of going out of bounds. It may seem slow, but it sets up that glitch, and then we can get both items at the same time without having to come back.
And that's not the first, and that's not the last time you're gonna see that. We're gonna see that again real shortly, after a few. And we're just gonna be heading through Magmore back to the beginning area of the main part of the game, Talon. So we probably do have some time for a few more announcements.
Perfect. So those of you just joining us here, welcome to Fastest Furs at FWA 2025. If you don't know what we're doing or what we are, Team Fastest Furs is a community of furry speedrunners that is welcoming and open to all. And you don't even have to be a furry to participate in our events, although it certainly doesn't hurt. We currently host 2 charity speedrun marathons per year in the spring and the fall, and provide other opportunities throughout the year for our community members to get involved and showcase their speedruns. Whether you are an active speedrunner or just someone who's curious about the hobby or about charity events, join us on our Discord by using the command !Discord in chat, or looking for the contact button on www.fastfurs.com. I'd also just like to say to Cody and to Caliber, fantastic job so far. This has been such an entertaining run. And I also do want to ask, the incentive of the fusion suit, I've heard it's not your favorite.
Not my
that's
favorite.
true. Well, as you can see right now, I'm running with I like to call it the puke suit. It's a really nasty green color.
That
later
is
on, I'm
Xbox
going to be
green,
checking
baby.
out later on, I'm going to get the Phazon suit, but that's close to the end of the run. Phazon suit does look a lot better, but I think honestly the Variolus power suit is probably the most nice suit in the game.
They could have picked a different shade of green for Vario suit, though.
I think
That's all
so.
I'm saying.
I mean, any green's a good green for me.
I personally prefer blue.
You're an Axu. You like green, surely.
Well, that might have to change soon.
Oh.
Just to stay consistent. But
I've just
also
changed
not.
someone's Sona in real time, folks. This is the power of being a host.
I'm also not puke green. That's the big difference.
Okay, yeah, no, there are levels of green. And I mean, but I like a lot of greens, so.
So we're heading back towards the early part of Chozo right now. This route, when we route this game, we want to minimize backtracking. Obviously, this game is a Metroidvania, so backtracking is kind of cooked into the intended gameplay. So most routing it kind of goes into how can we minimize backtracking and going through as few rooms as possible. But we do have to make a quick kind of detour back here because there is an artifact. This little corner of Chozo room.
Shout out to my boy Eagle, love him. I wish I talked to him more, but he's kind of dropped off the community for a while. But this trick right here is a little bit faster than the old method. Hold on, I should be able to just do this without just setting it up, whatever. But that dash, it saves a little bit of time over the old method. It's the Eagle dash. Shout out to him. He's an old-time runner from way back in the day when I started.
So normally, to get this artifact, you're supposed to have Spider Ball and Gravity Suit. We don't have either. You just saw us how we skipped Spider Ball, and right there we did an underwater slope jump. So slope jumps in this game are a way to jump up against the slope to gain a little extra height. But when you do them underwater, you get a lot of extra height, and pretty easy to use, and that's what we use to skip getting Gravity Suit right there to grab that artifact. And we will be skipping the Gravity Suit completely run. It's not at all needed for this route.
Hole in one. I'm just kidding.
Like a hole in two.
Hole in one.
It was a hole in one, yeah.
Technically, but it was slow. So the route I'm doing right now, it's called the double IS route. It's probably the easiest route in the game. It's I make it a bit more difficult by doing out of bounds, which all of the out of bounds in the game is technically optional. But in this route, I have to do infinite speed twice, once for the artifact of whatever the one in Chozo is, or the one that I picked up with the infinite speed.
Oh wait.
And then there's one right here.
Yeah, we're about to see Samus gain a lot of rotation again. We can basically shove ourselves in the corner, pick that position, and hold a direction on the stick, and we'll start gaining speed again. Really riveting gameplay.
Oh,
We have time for another couple announcements, I think.
It's essentially like a digital fireplace, I feel.
Oh
I
yeah.
could watch this for hours, except I can't, because eventually when it becomes not a number, I can't watch it. It's over. The glitch is done. I do want to say just a quick shout out to our charity we're supporting this year, of course. That's Lost and Found Youth. Their mission is to end homelessness for all LGBTQ plus youth by providing them with the skills and support needed to live independently. They envision a world where all youth feel safe and supported to live and love authentically. More than 40% of homeless youth identify as LGBTQ+, and this disparity in the homeless youth population continues to grow. It only takes one donation to make a real difference in another person's life. To learn more, type !charity in the chat or visit www.lnfy.org.
I'm just relaxing here. This is so chill, listening to the music, just charging up.
This is my favorite lo-fi beats to study too.
This one's actually even a little bit slower. All the magma in the room actually makes the game lag a little bit more, because when you do that, the game does lag and slows down, and the magma makes it slow down even more. So, unlike before, we're still in orb. So Cody's gonna go over here. On morph, we're gonna get something called light show. Basically, when for rotational speed is not a number, the camera can't really find out where it should be. So when you unmorph like that, you get light show, a bunch of garbled colors. We do that little like light show cancel, as it's called, so we can boost around a little bit quicker. And that's why this shooting that missile door over here so important earlier. The only way to cancel IS and fix light show is to enter a cutscene where the camera knows no matter what where it should be. So Cody's gonna unmorph right here, and light show is fixed.
Of course, I'm going to save here. Why not? I have no choice but to use the save station anyways, so I might as well use it.
In the second game, there's actually a category that has a route where you do a wall crawl in light show, and the only thing you have to get through that is the little map you see up in the corner. It's called flashing pink stuff.
Oh no.
Sorry?
That's the FPS wall crawl. It's like a, what is it, like a 2-hour long wall crawl? Or I think it was like 4 hours long when it was first done. More than that, maybe.
Something like that. See Cody doing a slope jump to be able to get up to that little ledge so we're out of bounds. This is considered harder of the two beginner wall crawls. This is called Ice Beam before Flagra, after Flagra, because originally when it was first implemented, you did this before you went to fight Flagra. Basically, this wall crawl lets us get to Ice Beam pretty quickly. Normally in this room, Energy Port, you have to do a puzzle, to lower the water and unlock the door. It adds about like 2 minutes of RT or something like that. But going out of bounds skips those little cutscenes doing that puzzle, so we can get through a lot quicker.
Weird. I got stuck.
Offline.
No. I'm chilling. Okay,
Out
there
of
we
bounds movement in this game can be pretty different.
Yeah, it's really precise. Everything I'm jumping on is like really tiny, and a lot of the times it's like 1 pixel thick. And the only reason I can land on it is because Samus herself has like a big enough hitbox to land on it. Right there should be good.
Yeah, Cody's morphing to hit a bunch of invisible triggers to load the next one.
I have to be careful doing that transition there because there's actually a ghost trigger, and if I hit the ghost trigger, this door locks. I'm back in bounds. Let's go. All right, right here, I'm going to watch the cutscene on purpose again. I can hold down on the C stick, and it starts the animation for the beam switch, and it's a little faster. It saves like a 1/4 second or something. Half second, roughly.
Does the C6 do anything else in this game? I mean, why? Do you know why that occurs?
No, well, it's just like there's a 1 frame window you can input, but you can buffer it using the C-stick. So
Interesting.
in between, and then the animation starts to play as the text box appears, and it saves some time.
Ah, that makes sense.
Now we're making a quick detour to Late Talon. 'Cause we need to get the X-ray visor, which is totally required to finish the game. And also, there's an artifact thing over in this corner that conveniently we can also grab while we're over here. Cody's going to do a couple standables to skip needing Spider Ball, because that's an item, of course, like I said earlier.
We don't need it.
And this is everyone's favorite room in the game. It's Life Growth Tunnel. We're not quite sure why, but this half-pipe sucks. Sometimes it just likes to eat all your speed and throw you back into the tunnel.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening. Let me up.
And everyone deserves to
There
be
we
out
go.
of Life Growth Tunnel like that. So now we have the X-ray visor, which is one of the two major visor upgrades in the game. It's the only one that is completely required to complete the game. The other ones, the thermal visor, required. We will grab it because we passed by it in this route, but we need it for a boss fight later in the run. And right over here is the other artifact I was talking about. This one's artifact of
Chozo.
Chozo.
This one I know because it's really prevalent, I guess. I think it's the biggest one.
Cody once again demonstrating that if it looks standable, you can
Oops.
definitely stand on it.
I messed up. Yeah. Thank God for this rock, otherwise getting out of here would be really annoying.
Somebody must have covered it in butter. There we go. It's a little bit of downtime, so we do have time for some announcements if there's any.
Perfect. I just want to bring up to note some incentives that we have coming up right now. Again, the last incentive for today is for the add bonus Super Mario Bros. 3 Wrong Warp Run in the multiple classic Mario game speedrun that will end day one. We're currently still at $114 of 1,000. We would love to hit that before the end of either this run or the next. And then, of course, we have our first incentive already opened for tomorrow, which is for Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, which is to name the character. Ooh is currently winning with $11.9. 0.9, most people say, I guess that works, 0.9. $11.90. And so if you want to get a new name in there even, you could get a new game, I suppose, but that's not going to help with donations. If you can get a new name in here, you can always donate by going to doing exclamation donate in the chat, or by going to www.fastestfirst.com/donate. We're welcoming so many donations. We'd love to hit 5K by the end of the night. What do you think Samus is thinking of down this elevator?
Pretty
Why
long
me?
elevator.
That's exactly the thought that she has. This elevator is long.
She's thinking, I wonder how Chozo is up in the sky. I always imagined that Chozo was like on a massive mountain or a plateau or something. That's why it's so high up. I got charged towards there for a moment. That's funny.
Solid dash.
I wish I got the bunny hop.
So in the normal speedrun setting, this is basically the only spot that is quick to do a quick save in.
Yeah.
Basically, right now we're basically right in the middle of the run.
Yeah, this marks about halfway through. I'm a little bit slow on time, but that's because I messed up the early wild. But I left quite a bit of room, so I think I should still be able to finish on time.
I think the world record RT run is like
An hour and 7 minutes or so.
something like that. I think it's a little quicker. but we're gonna go right back to Magmore, and instead of going to early Magmore again, we're gonna take a dip into late Magmore.
That's Gert. Say yogurt. He got in the way.
So
I
if
can only imagine what Tico's thinking right now.
I was just gonna say, if I encourage Gert, would that be go Gert?
Yeah, probably.
You looked at me with the exact expression of, don't say that.
You know what's up. All right, so right here, it's a little bit tight of a bunny hop. I didn't get into bunny hops, but can I get it? Yes, okay. Nice, okay, so that's a little bit tight. It's not hard, but if you can mess it up and then you fall into the lava, which is annoying.
There's a lot of tricks in this game that are only faster if you get it the first time, and any subsequent time basically loses time. Any subsequent attempt loses time. There's many cases of that in the game, unfortunately. So,
Okay.
in this room, spinners, and we're going to go into spinners and use the boost ball to raise these platforms. Because at the top of this room, there's something that
I got a
that
ledge
we
clip.
Good.
Some speedrunners can skip most of these spinners, but the trick to do it is pretty difficult and really precise, so I'm not going to bother. It doesn't take that much time to open them up. And right here, you're about to see the room opens up all the way up top. There's a giant spider track. It takes a long time to get through, and I don't even have the spider ball. I won't be getting it, so I'm just going to do this one trick here, and I'm going to skip the whole thing if I can get it.
Jump up there and just kind of do that.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I missed the first one, but there's a backup right here.
Yeah, right there.
And, oh, no. Hold on. Oh,
Ooh,
save
that was a
it.
good save.
Scary, scary.
Vertical rooms in this game suck because one little mistake will send you to the bottom and make you lose a ton
Okay.
of time. Very good. So now we have Plasma Beam, the last major beam of the game, and it's definitely probably the strongest. It can one-shot a lot of enemies.
Is that the Hawk Tua?
That's the Hawk Tua, yeah.
Chicken jockey, Hawk Tua. It feels like we've gone through everything in the past 2
Gert,
years.
Hawk Tua. I shan't continue. I could go on all day.
I could go on all day.
Okay,
oh,
he's,
yeah. These pirates like to knock you back a lot.
yeah, I've never seen him right there, but, you know, what can you do?
He wanted to greet you.
I guess so.
So we're gonna go back into Vendrana, this time in the latter half of Vendrana. Because there's an artifact kind of chilling in Vendrana in the corner. Cody's gonna take a quick safety save. That we need to grab now that we have Plasma Beam and Power Bombs. Then we're gonna go into the Space Pirate Labs, but we're gonna go backwards. And we're only gonna go through about half of it. Because there's an artifact chilling right in the middle of it.
I cannot get out of my head her looking, going like, oh my god, this is such a long elevator.
Who maintains these elevators?
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. What's the maintenance crew of the Metroid universe?
Chozo technology. It's just crazy like
It
that.
just kind of works, TM.
Oh, crap. Whatever.
Good job.
I mean, I saved it, but I didn't shoot the door.
So in normal gameplay, coming to late Vendrana, you're supposed to come here to get without Plasma Beam to get Gravity Suit, and then go back to underwater section of the game, and then have to come back here basically at the end of the game after you get Plasma Beam to grab this little artifact.
Those pirates are really annoying, so I just charge up a beam, and the plasma beam in this game is kind of crazy. It just like one-shots almost anything if you charge it up.
Use a power bomb to reveal, oh, there's a door behind you. Grab an artifact, And that's all the business we have to attend to, late Andromeda. Racking up those artifacts so Samus can do the artifact spread later. Now we're basically just gonna reverse out how we.
There's a Hunter Metroid in here, but... Okay. There's a Hunter Metroid in here, but in most cases in this game, you can just, like, go past a lot of enemies. I feel like that's the case for a lot of, like, games where it's not really required to fight them.
Yeah, most enemies in this, well, a lot of enemies in this game, I should say. As long as you're fast enough, you don't need to deal with them. But unfortunately, you make one mistake,
Yeah.
they can really start piling on the timeline. So right now we're entering
Nice health, by the way.
we're entering the pirate labs in the reverse. In normal gameplay, you're supposed to enter through the other end of them. Come through here, grab that thermal visor that you saw inside that tank, and then that'll change the labs to be all dark, so you have to use the visor. But since we have Ice Beam, we can just come in backwards.
Again, with the use of standable spots that are not really intended, you can get it up that room quite fast. I didn't see a power bomb there. Right now, I need to farm for a power bomb. There's a bunch of boxes in the room coming up, so I'm probably going to get one, but it's not guaranteed technically. Not one there, whatever. You can lose a little bit of time to it, but that's really rare and quite hard to do. That pirate who broke the glass, his name was Edward. Edward didn't give us any love today, no power bomb.
Gave you a missile, though.
I don't need a missile, I need a power bomb.
So in this next upcoming room, there's an artifact that normally there's some ice you're supposed to melt with the plasma beam, but it's a little slow because we can just jump, shoot a missile, and hit the trigger that'll make the tower fall. It'll fall down and be a little hole for us to enter. A little fun fact is that if you're positioned wrong when this cutscene plays, you can actually soft lock the game because the tower will basically fall on Samus. Can't move.
Let me up.
That's the artifact of Elder.
Okay, I've had a pretty bad RNG. Normally I have a power bomb by now, but I can farm a bunch of boxes here. One there, maybe? No.
Yeah, so right now we need to farm for a power bomb because we do need one to destroy some rubble a little bit later. But after we get that power bomb, we'll be able to just go back the way we came.
That took way longer than normal, but that's fine.
And that's basically all the business we have to attend to in labs. And now we'll be entering the second to final area of the game after this, which is the phase online. But on our way out, we're gonna stop and get thermal visor because it's just right there, and it helps save some time with make the final boss easier. But it's not a hard requirement to finish the game.
Got to the time to mention just a quick donation.
Yeah, you have some downtime.
Sure, we don't have, there's no comment for this donation. We have $25 from Moon Blaze Wolf, who is donating it for the bonus Super Mario Bros. 3 Wrong Warp run. I would really encourage getting this one met, because if you've not seen the Wrong Warp in Super Mario Bros. 3, it is a thing of beauty. You basically put 3 turtle shells in exact the right places to do ace in the game by hitting a out-of-bounds note block, and then you warp to the credits, or warp to this credit sequence with Peach. So, get it met. It would be wonderful to see.
Now we have the thermal visor, which we don't really make much use of until the final boss. In normal gameplay, its intended function is to help you see some conduits that you can shoot with the wave beam to turn them on, and see invisible enemies that have heat. Basically, an infrared camera for Samus' visor. And we will be skipping, like I said, we'll be skipping Spider Ball, which means we'll be skipping one of the bosses of this game, Stardust, also called Roxanne by me, personally.
Nice. All right. So we're about to enter the mines here. One thing about mines is that it kind of expects you to have a lot of stuff that I never picked up, like the spider ball, grapple beam, and others. Um, I don't need any of that stuff to beat the game because I'm so good. Um, so you'll see a lot more technical tricks. Like up to now, it's been really movement heavy, and that still applies, but there's also a bunch of technical stuff that's going to be happening as well.
Yeah, phase-on mines, and especially lower phase-on mines, is where our lack of items really starts to show in the run.
The enemy I just killed there is guaranteed a power bomb. I need the power bomb. Devs put it there because in case you get here with your main power bombs and you don't have one, but it's a pretty nice top up because you do need one like immediately after you get down here.
And so, like I said, phase-on mines is where it kind of starts to get a little more difficult because the lack of items starts to show. And this is also a pretty dangerous part of the game because a lot of the enemies in this portion do a lot of damage very quickly. And by this point, you're supposed to have the gravity suit, which gives you 25% damage reduction. And currently, we only have the Varia suit, which is 10%. So basically, we're missing 15% of damage reduction that we normally have.
All right, this is one of my favorite strats. Honestly, it's so cool. As soon as we get out of this cutscene, you guys will see why. If you're not familiar with the game, you can just jump on his head, and there's a standable spot here, one there, and we can skip the fight.
Yeah, so if it looks standable, it probably does apply to enemy heads too.
In some cases, yes.
In some cases. We have a little bit of downtime, so we've probably time for like one announcement.
Sure, I'll go ahead and just mention that for those of you interested in buying a shirt from us, we have once again partnered with Timberwolf Trading to produce a brand new event shirt for our Live at FW 2025 event. I'm wearing the runner shirt myself, but it is this design. It's normally in a sort of dark blue, but I have it in purple because runners are purple. Designed by Rotom, the shirt is available in either black or purple. Hey, okay, wasn't just dark blue. It features our Live at FW 2025 logo and sizes ranging from small to 5X and worldwide shipping. A portion of each shirt sale, excuse me for the missaying there, shirt sale made prior to the end of the marathon will be donated to Lost and Found Youth, so don't wait and order yours now. Use the command !merchant chat for a link to our store page.
All right, so a couple things. That boss I just fought there, you're not supposed to be able to see him, but for some reason, if you get the, what is it, the...
X-ray visor.
X-ray visor, yes. If you get the X-ray visor early, you can somehow see him through the cutscene. Or you can see him like just in general, which is, I don't think it's intended, but that's what the devs did. You're supposed to fight him like without seeing him, but...
Yeah, in normal gameplay, one, you're not supposed to have X-ray, you're not supposed to have plasma. So after this, you're supposed to go all the way back to where we got the X-ray visor.
Yeah.
Which is a huge backtrack. And these power bombs, the main power bombs, give us 4 instead of just 1. And we do have to get these because there is something we have to power bomb later that we wouldn't be able to power bomb. The game just won't destroy it if you don't grab these, because it changes a layer in that way.
Right. I didn't get to it, but that maze, there are 300 possible different mazes. I touched on it earlier when we fought the incinerator drone. I'm just going to take the save here quickly. This is also another doing of Mr. Zoid Kirsch. Again, with the theme of adding RNG to the game. But we still love him, actually. There's actually an old AGDQ or SGDQ speedrun where Zoid was part of the commentators, which is really awesome.
Say hello to the squad. These guys can take down a lot of your health very quickly.
They're bad.
The fastest way to do that little room is to just boost through them very quickly, get into this little corner so they can't hit you. Cody opted to take the safer but slightly slower route because they can take down a lot of your health very quickly because those are stronger turrets than we've seen before. They're mega turrets instead of auto turrets.
This is one of the more technical rooms. There's a lot of stuff going on, lots of enemies, invisible platforms, a lot of it. But hopefully I can get the strat here and skip most of it. Oh my gosh. Am I on the platform? I am.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That was good
That
luck.
was
That was good.
that was bonkers, dude. Oh my god. Alright, wait. Oh, so lucky. Oh,
Ooh.
never mind. Not so lucky. Sometimes they move upward and you can dash off of them, but otherwise there's a missile up there you can also dash off of. Oh wow, I made it. Come on. Ooh. I'm not getting much speed because he's so close to me.
Yeah.
What if I... I'll just do the vanilla strat.
So now we're gonna enter lower mines, and a pretty dark section of the game. Cody will probably use thermal visor a couple of times, but there's also our second to last artifact down here, and we'll get into a little bit more about that in a second. The artifact in Newborn, there is a way to get it slightly earlier than we'll be getting it in this run. So normally in this room, if you're doing early Newborn, which is another wall crawl, it's considered one of the harder wall crawls, because there is a chance to soft lock the game doing it, that you can't really avoid. So you'd use that little glider there that Cody dashed off of to reposition you out of bounds, crawl into this room, transition it to the next one. Game thinks room and changes the collision, and you'd be able to grab that artifact without needing to deal with the phase-on, which phase-on in this game does damage exponentially. But Cody's not doing that in this run, so we're gonna have to go fight Omega Pirate. That was a pretty solid room. We'll have to fight Omega Pirate and come back once we get phase-on from Omega Pirate to grab that artifact. That was a very solid fungal haul for you, though. Cody's gonna take a quick safety save. With 4 E-tanks, should be good, but never hurts to top up on energy. Also just have that save in case it goes wrong. So coming up is Omega Pirate, and this is the boss that we needed the X-ray visor for. And I'll explain a little bit more why.
I'm getting destroyed.
Yeah, you're getting attacked. And I'll explain a little bit more why we need to have the X-ray visor. We actually get to fight. But he's gonna enter, boost over, say hi to our fight. And we're gonna skip this cutscene immediately because then Omega Pirate hasn't gone. He's still trying to go through his cutscene animation, so we can take that moment to delete all of these armor plates he has on his joints. And something interesting about Omega Pirate and the Elite Pirates is they won't start attacking you until they've looked at you and done their little animation. And what Cody did right there is lay a power bomb at the bottom of his head to skip some troopers that he would normally summon. Saves a little bit of time and well, it doesn't really save time, but it makes the fight a little bit easier. So Cody's gonna pull out the X-ray visor because without X-ray visor, OP, even if we know what pool he's in and we can manipulate which pool he goes to, we can't do damage unless the X-ray visor is pulled out. So Cody's gonna take a couple charged plasma beam shots and hit Omega Pirate with it. And we can manipulate what pool Omega Pirate stands in because he'll never spawn in the same pool twice and he'll always spawn in the one furthest from you. And after we do that twice, we can lay a power bomb in the pool we're going to manipulate him to spawn into and pull out the X-ray visor to do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, Cody seemed to put it away a little bit
Wait,
too
hold
soon.
on. I can still get this.
But he could still save this with one plasma shot like that. Not quite as fast, but still very solid. One cycle is optimal.
That was freaky. That was scary.
But yeah, unfortunately, I think he might have put it away a little too quickly. But ideally, that power bomb would have finished the fight. Finished the fight right there. But Cody still got a one cycle, so it's pretty quick. Not getting that one cycle, unfortunately, wastes a lot of time. You'll have to destroy all of the armor plates. And now we have the Phazon suit. This isn't that though. In the cutscene, it just gives you the next suit. So the suit you just saw, the model was for the gravity suit, which we didn't get, but we actually do have the Phazon suit. And you'll see that when she morphs, when Samus morphs. Now we're orange. I think a much better color than puke green. And we're gonna do a little backtrack to go get that newborn. I see you pushing that button to make a comment.
Hey! I'm gonna be wearing all orange for my run tomorrow, so you know it is a good color.
Orange is a great color, much better than puke green.
I
am
still
wearing,
like green.
I'm wearing Phazon suit, or sorry, I'm wearing gravity suit blue. Kind of. It's
More
actually
like a purple,
Whatever.
yeah.
It's
I like
close
how
enough.
we can appraise different colors through the lens of Metroid Prime. You should make, I'm forgetting the paint company that makes the paint over the world, but you can just make swabs of gravity suit purple. Sherwin-Williams, correct, yes.
And I didn't mention it earlier, but Phazon suit basically just gives us immunity to Phazon, so we can now go through this fun little bomb puzzle thing to grab second to last artifact, the artifact of newborn.
Thanks.
So normally, if we did the early newborn wall crawl, we'd be able to grab it from out of bounds. But like I said, that's considered one of the harder wall crawls.
Minor oversight in that room. The second last little rock that you bomb, they forgot to add like a sound trigger to it. So when you bomb it, it makes no sound. Which is kind of interesting.
Kind of goes away, yeah.
So the bombs themselves don't make sound.
No, the rock. Every rock you bomb, it makes a little noise, like a bomb rock explosion noise.
Oh, I
But
see.
the second last rock, I might be able to get this? Yes, okay. The second last rock makes no noise for some reason. They must have just forgot to add it.
It is kind of amusing to have a silent rock a little bit.
I love when my rocks are noisy. Whatever that means.
I'm not sure what you mean by that either.
Whatever that means, yeah.
I guess we'll have to decode that in the next time we can talk over here.
The world may never know.
So now basically we're in the end game. We have one more detour, or a couple more detours to make. We're gonna go through upper mines because there's an artifact up there that we need to grab, and then we'll have to go back to Chozo Ruins to grab another artifact before we can finally head towards the end of the game.
More standable spots so you can climb this room quite fast. It's cool. I like it.
If it looks standable, it probably is.
All right, so we're back at this pirate here. I'm not going to jump on his head this time. Instead, I'm going to jump over his trigger and try to skip the fight. Hopefully I can get that. Oh, okay, whatever. I can still fight him, but it's a little slow.
It's a little slow, and also it uses missiles. This fight uses, well, an optimal fight uses missiles, and that's missiles that we're actually using for another fight that's coming up rather shortly. So Cody's gonna have to farm a little bit of missiles. Jumped on his head and then put him to sleep. Not very nice. And so now we're gonna go through the upper labs in reverse. And I mentioned earlier that we're skipping Spider Ball, and there's two tricks coming up known as spiderless shafts. They give a lot of new runners getting into doing a route spiderless a lot of trouble, because they do this trick called a bomb space jump, also known as a BSJ. And basically, there's an instant unmorph when the camera can't do Sam's morph animation. So it'll just instantly unmorph her. And without getting into too much of the technical details, depending on her jump state, what is known as her jump state, you can get a space jump out of that unmorph to gain some extra height. You can jump, get a couple
Wow.
standables over here.
Oh, dang. It's not. I mean, it's one of the most difficult tricks to learn.
It's notoriously difficult for new runners getting into fighterless runs. It does save time though. I think you can mess it up a handful of times and still technically save time over getting fighter ball.
I had it the first try. That was pretty cool, but I fell.
Yeah, this bomb space jump is a little finicky, and unfortunately, the position of the camera isn't really ideal either for it, so it makes it a little more so. Seen that camera?
Yes, there we go.
There we go.
No, it's not over yet.
Oh, wait, folks.
And we're out.
There we go. Sometimes that that standable right there can decide that it just doesn't want to be standable anymore and just put you back to the ground.
To be
Thankfully,
fair,
that didn't happen to Cody.
The game's been pretty generous on where you can stand, as you can see.
Yeah.
Oh, this room is a great example of that, by the way. Look, that rock there, the rock is standable.
Yeah.
And so is the spinning thing. And right here. Oh, I fell, whatever.
Depends on if the devs wanted to cover it in butter that day or
It's
not.
this thing, that thing, it's everything.
There's a lot of things.
Wait, where am I? I'm getting lost. Oh, there, okay. Nice.
This section of mines is known as a pretty difficult part of the run, partially because, especially if you're on a good pace, this is where a lot of runners get emotionally invested in their run, as many do. And a lot of mistakes are pretty easy to make, and they pile on. They can pile on very quickly. Say hi to Calvin.
I
Calvin's
went
our-
on top of him. That's
Cal-
never happened before.
Yeah, Cody got on top of Calvin. Calvin is our favorite power trooper. But sometimes he likes to fall to the bottom of the room, which is where you don't want him. And so, like I mentioned earlier, we needed to grab the main power bomb so we can destroy this. Because if you don't grab them and you lay a power bomb, nothing will happen. The power bomb will just go off. And something to note about this pirate and all the other elite pirates, again, different than these ones, is this is the Phazon Elite. He has more health. I think he's stronger. And in an ideal situation, you'd have at least 25 missiles, and you would use all of them to get a quick kill on this guy. And I see our amazing host is dancing to that theme.
No, I wasn't dancing. I was just trying to mimic my favorite pirate.
Oh, okay.
The theme was good. The music of Metroid Prime is obviously amazing, but no, I just like the fact that it looks like he's constantly being like a car being rotated in like a shop. It's like, yeah, you could get a good look at me from the same side all the time.
So now there's only one more artifact we have to grab before we can go to the end of the game, and that's back in Chozo Ruins. So we're gonna make our exit out of mine now. Ooh, not being
I don't
nice
know why
to
the
you.
rock is still there. I thought I must have forgot to scan it. Whatever.
The
Leave
turret's
me
being a
alone.
jerk
Oh,
instead of
Calvin is down
Calvin.
here. Weird. Usually Calvin stays up confined to his little spot.
I also want to ask a question. Do you all have like a naming committee for these creatures?
They just sometimes kind of get names if they're annoying enough. If they're annoying enough or notable enough, they'll get names. We mentioned earlier Edward.
Yeah, Edward, yes.
Edward, the reason he has a name is because sometimes he can, something that happens in that room that we went through where Edward was, is he breaks glass, because we're coming through that room reverse. And he has to break the glass. Sometimes he doesn't. This is ore processing, everyone's favorite room.
Yeah, luckily it's not too sloppy so far. Okay, I'm good.
That was a very solid ore
Yeah.
processing. Not sloppy at all.
Nice, okay. And we're pretty much out of mines now, which is very exciting.
Yep. Game's gonna say welcome to mines, and we're gonna say goodbye to mines.
Goodbye, mines. We're not coming back.
And we do have a little bit of downtime if there's any announcements that you want to make.
Perfect. I just want to say to people again, we have 2 more games left for today. We have Super Mario 64 70-star ability randomizer with Dangerous coming up right after this run. Big crowd for that. And then we also have right after the multiple classic Mario games run from 1 second. Their name starts with an underscore, I know that.
Let me up.
Spiker1, apologies for that. And of course, for that run, we have the incentive for adding the Wrong Warp Super Mario Bros. 3 run to that. Of course, we only have so much time left to get that going, so if you can donate and get us to see not just 1, not just 2, not just 3, but 4 Super Mario NES titles in a row, that would be great. So again, if you're in the chat, hit !donate in the chat. Or if you're here in person, you can go to www.fastestfurs.com/donate. Any and all donations are welcome. We're looking forward to, again, hopefully getting to 5K by the end of the night.
It's Friday. No excuses. It's payday.
For most people.
I get paid monthly. I don't know what day it is every time that happens.
All right, right here, I'm gonna do a trick called Ghost Skip. I need to do it because remember the ghost trigger I mentioned earlier? It still exists. I never fought the ghost, so I'm just gonna dash up there, and then if I am good enough to unmorph and land on the peg, then I won't activate the ghost, and I can continue. I missed it. That's fine.
Well, at
It's not a big deal. I can use my X-ray visor to shoot the ghost a lot faster than normal, but it saves a lot of time if you can manage to not fight him, obviously. I'm stuck on something.
This game likes to stick Samus to stuff. Collision in this game is very fun.
All right, here's one of my favorite slope jumps. I'm just gonna jump into this guy's hands and just like that.
Get all up in his face.
We're pretty much in go mode at this point. We have everything we need to beat the game. We're just cleaning up this artifact, and there's one more, and then we can fight the final bosses, which takes a little bit of time, but not too much.
Yeah, we're heading back to Talon. We're heading back to the very the main game. Like Cody said, there's one more artifact, but that's in the room that we are bringing all the artifacts to. And this stone toad is not being nice to Cody. Also known as the butter toad when they're like that.
I forgot I scanned it already.
Yet another long elevator.
I mean, it is. We've said it before. FWA has been elevator con, but I think Samus is really experiencing.
Samus is really experiencing elevator con right now. At least she doesn't have lines to wait in, though.
But I mean, it's basically like the elevator itself is a line.
Well, I'd rather be on the elevator than in line for the elevator.
Aw. That horrible noise.
I'm so sorry. I was not expecting that. The game was at pretty full volume in my ears.
I'm sure that was real nice.
I got the bunny hop that time. That was much better.
So now this is pretty much gonna be this in a normal run. This would be the final. Are you saving after Ridley?
Yeah.
So yeah, in a normal run setting, this would be the final save of the game before we go and finish. A lot of runners like to use this time on the save file as like a benchmark for how well the run was going into final bosses. Because final bosses, while they're not. They can dictate whether or not you get a PB if you don't have that much leeway.
Oh,
There's
welcome
not
to
really
Impact Creator.
for most runners. There's not really a lot of time to be lost or gained during final bosses. For a lot of top level runners, I should say, especially those who do a certain skip. We'll get into in a bit. We do have time for like one quick announcement before we get into
Absolutely.
fight right here.
Absolutely. Then I'll just mention that I want to say thank you to everyone who's come in person and online to watch Fastest Furs at FWA 2025. It's been an incredible start, and again, this is not the end of the entire marathon. We still have day 2 tomorrow with another 10 games being speed ran. So remember, make sure to attend not just today, but also tomorrow if you can. That's all I'm going to say for now.
All right. And so if in the last hour you've forgotten, Ridley is also on this planet with us, so we're going to have a nice battle with him. And you're going to see a very cool trick, a mini trick coming up in just a second. Ridley's going to go into a little flying around phase. There's a way to skip that, known as creatively as flyby skip. It's a little precise. It can be made less so with pause buffering, which we didn't really at all demonstrate in the run. But
Everyone in chat, I want everyone in chat to keep a close eye on his health bar here. Something crazy will happen.
Yeah, keep a good eye on that health bar. Cody's gonna pull a gamer move. Ridley finishes his flying by phase. And Cody's gonna morph and boost right into his chest. The morph ball is fun in the way that it was programmed to, when you boost into something, do about 50,000 damage per frame. The thing is, most enemies are invulnerable to that, except Ridley's first phase. His chest is completely vulnerable to that, so we can do it to basically skip the whole phase. And we can enter the second phase, where we basically need to stun him to open up his chest so we can get in shot.
Dang, so close. Oh wow,
And
okay.
that was a pretty friendly Ridley. Ridley he didn't do it there, but he can go into like a dashing animation, and especially after that, during the second half of the second phase, he can just go into a chain of dashes where he just keeps going and going, and it can waste a lot of time very quickly. But this isn't quite the end of the game. We're going to the Impact Crater after this cutscene, which is the final area of the game, and the reason we needed all 12 artifacts. Because when you get the artifacts, they change a relay in this room that basically says an artifact has been gathered, and once all 12 have been gathered, it'll change the layer to the Ridley fight, so we can defeat him and enter the Impact Crater. And we're going to be entering the final boss very soon. Cody's going to take a quick safety save. And I'll talk about it a little bit right now, but there is a way to skip the first phase of the final boss, known as Metroid Prime Exoskeleton, creatively named Exoskip. There's two methods. There's one that utilizes a reposition with a Metroid, and then there's another one that's a little newer and utilizes pause buffering to allow you to get out of bounds. The pause buffering method is considered easier than the reposition method. But Cody won't be doing either of those this run. Reposition is rather difficult, and the pause buffering takes some time RTA. But since the in-game timer is paused while you are like pausing for that buffer, it actually doesn't waste the in-game time.
That's the cutscene you instantly skip.
That's one of the ones you skip, yeah. So Exo has four little sections. This is known as subchamber 1. The color of Exo's skeleton correlates to what beam you're supposed to use that they're vulnerable to. So the first subchamber is just the power beam and wave beam. The second one will be power beam, wave beam, and ice beam. And then the third subchamber will be power beam, wave beam, ice beam, plasma beam. Then the final one, actually I should probably explain first. The order that Exo picks to change phases is kind of random. Ideally you want a phase, you want ice or plasma phase, followed by power or wave beam, because those are too strong. Plasma and ice are a lot stronger, and it's quicker to get through those phases. Because plasma beam, when you hit Exo with a charge shot, Exo basically catches fire for a bit and continuously does damage. So you want stronger beams to be followed by a beam, so you can get through the next
Right here, I
phase.
need to do a snipe to get him. I missed it, but there's another one I can do. If you get both snipes, it shortens the fight considerably.
Yeah, this fight doesn't really have much RNG to it except the last sub-chamber, which when we get there, I'll be able to add a little bit more. Yeah,
I missed it again, but I can get this one still. The reason why we want to get the ice and plasma first, or before the wave power at least, is because ice and plasma are much faster, and you can do those snipes in the wrong phase, so to say. So say the correct phase is plasma, or no, if the correct phase is power, and it was preceded by plasma, you can still hit them twice with the plasma and almost skip the entire power phase. This is good RNG so far on this fight, on this room, sorry.
it's been a very solid Exo fight so far. Knocking on wood though.
I got it that
Got
time.
that snipe. Oh, wow,
Nice, okay, good. Okay, watch. One shot will take him out that time.
Yeah, and if you basically get through that next phase very quickly. So ideally here we want plasma beam to show up instead of wave beam. And well, looks like Exo doesn't want to be too friendly. Wave beam isn't so bad though, because at least the shots home in on Exo, so well, they are a lot less likely to miss.
Right here, I'm going to purposefully hit him once, and I'll switch right into plasma because it's a lot faster and more damage here.
Yeah, and as you can see, Exo catches fire with the charged plasma shots, and it basically just continuously does damage for a little bit. But now we're entering the last subchamber. This subchamber, Exo's 4 phases are completely random, and they can change them at any time. So ideally here, we want plasma, ice, or at the very least, plasma, weak beam, weak beam. First beam was wave beam, not ideal, but it's okay. Especially as Exo gets a little bit lower on health, they can start basically just charging and changing beams randomly. So if you have like a wave beam phase and you shoot a wave beam shot, Exo can decide while that shot is traveling towards him to just change phases so you don't do any damage. We just got a plasma phase, which is very convenient. Ideally, Cody gets these snipes, so we can get to the next phase very quick. Doesn't look like he got it though. But at least you can get that shot. Followed by Ice Beam, not bad.
Oh, he's hyper mode right now, watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the part where Exo
Whoa.
can
Hold on, I still got him.
Exo starts speeding up, and they can start changing their phase very quickly. We might not see that actually because Cody is about.
It's over. Goodbye. There's still one more fight, and after this fight, I will be calling time.
Yep. So now Exo's gonna fall to the bottom of a very long pit. No elevator though. And we're gonna enter the second phase of the final boss, and this is the true final battle.
Sorry,
This is-
guys. I'm skipping the cutscene.
Yeah, so we're not gonna get any music because if you skip it too soon, it doesn't start playing music.
Yeah, I find the music a little irritating, so I just don't bother listening to it.
Yeah, this is Metroid Prime Essence. Essence will basically drop pools of Phazon. This is why we needed the Phazon suit, because once that pool gets dropped, we're able to step into it, and it'll turn on what is known as the Hyper Beam. Hyper mode. And Exo will change to another visor that you can only see them in, which is why thermal is nice, because then we don't need to be taking blind shots. what you see Cody doing right here is attack cancels. So Essence, is programmed to do a certain number of attacks for the lay the next pool. So by doing that, we're able to basically very quickly get through each phase. So we're going to do some more attack cancels, time with Thermal Visor. If Cody had grabbed Thermal Visor, basically have to do this wind, figure out where Essence is, and then take these shots without being locked on. There's a little bit of a timing to it, because if you do it too quickly, Essence won't go through all their attacks, but very perfect. And right here, Cody's going to start doing, in addition to attack cancels, going to start doing...
Oh, he put the pool in the ground. Kind of. Where is he? Where is it? Oh my gosh, it's right on top of me. I'm getting trolled.
Yeah, he's trolled right now. So, just gonna, Cody's doing right now what is known as pool cancels. If you step in and out of the pool as you take your shots, not only are you also ideally doing an attack cancel, but you're also reducing the rate that the
I'm getting
phase on
trolled.
pool
Aw.
gets. Ooh, and it's got a pool skip. So if
Yeah.
Essence is too close to the wall or the corpse, I think that's what triggers a pool. That's one of the things that can trigger a pool skip. It looks like that might be what happened right there. And basically, Essence just changes phases without laying a pool, so wastes a little bit of time. But like I was saying right there, Cody was trying to do pool cancels, which is stepping out of the puddle while you're taking your shots. It'll reduce the rate that the pool depletes, and so you can take more shots.
Yeah, you can see Essence pretty harmless if you know her phases and stuff.
And
Time is coming up. And time.
136 RTA.
Huh?
136 RTA.
It's probably like a
Game.
108.
In 108.
Yeah.
Not gonna be completely accurate because you had to
Yeah.
soft reset right or wild.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch a couple fun cutscenes before we go see the in-game time.
Yeah. While this wraps up, I just want to make a few thank yous. Obviously, thanks to Caliber, my amazing commentator. Thank you to Focus for our amazing commentary. Yeah.
Host. I guess you
Hosting.
call it commentary if you want to call long elevators a commentary.
And also, thank you to Retro Studios for making such an amazing game, an amazing speedrun. And I want to say that I'm really hyped for Metroid Prime 4. Maybe I'll be doing some of that when it comes out.
Hey, that would be fun to see.
So there's a couple cutscenes here. I'm just trying to get through it quickly so I can just take a peek at the in-game time and then call it quits and give it up to the next runner.
If you don't mind, I just got a pretty big donation, and if you don't mind me
Of course,
saying.
there's lots of time.
Well, lots of credits too. So, we just got an anonymous $200 donation for the ad bonus Super Mario Bros. 3 Wrong Warp Run. That incentive now, for reference, is at a total of $340 of its $1,000 goal. So we only need $660 more to get the bonus Super Mario Bros. 3 Wrong Warp Run at the end of Super Mario Bros. 1, Lost Levels, and Super Mario Bros. 2. Let's see our final game time of
109. You're a minute off.
I know. What a shame. To those who were paying attention, right before Ridley, I drew on the wall 104 because I thought it was going to be a 4, but still a pretty good run. I'm pretty happy with it. If only I didn't fail that early wild, but that's fine. Stuff like that happens. So again, thank you for the run. Thank you for hosting me. I hope you guys all have a good day.
Thank you so much, Cody. One more hand for Cody, everyone.